You ask a very good question. I per se wouldn't trust it. There are a lot of videos on YouTube that you should watch first. Um, there are also videos from Ghanaians telling you about how they treat their employers. They're very poorly paid. The minimum daily wage has been raised up, I think, to like 18 CDs, which is less than like $1.25. Um, there are Ghanaians, there's videos of them talking about having businesses in the country and how they have to have a national conversation about employees stealing. I used to believe the Lebanese were being very racist because they check you, they check Ghanaians when they leave work, and I'm like, wow, that's racist. Why do you do that? And then I start finding out from Ghanaians who had businesses in the country about theft and stealing from their employers. There's one woman who makes content and she's always wearing like a green dress, very beautiful young lady. And she talked about how her father was being robbed by his employees in Ghana and they were planning to kill him. So you have to be very careful. They need investments and they need tourism, which is why they started the year of return. The African Union actually started the year of return. The African Union called out to African governments to start welcoming back people from the diaspora. However, I didn't think and do enough research, and I left Kenya and went to Ghana. I don't know why, and I'm kicking myself. The colorism, the scamming, the fraud, the corruption, corruption, scamming, and fraud and theft from employers is not their top priority. They do not want to arrest them and chase them. They do not care. So you'll see that on the U.S. Embassy's website in Accra. They do not care about romance scams, defrauding, scamming. I met a woman in her mid 60s. She lost $80,000 and she was truly in love with a Ghanaian man. And 80,000 is only the tip of what she lost. Um, and now she's like, I'm never going back to Africa. The African continent is massive. Again, there's 56 countries in Africa. Only 55 of them are in the African Union. I would be careful because it's just there's no help, there's no support. Just like the man who is Guyanese and they call him African American because he went to the United States when he was 4. He has like 7 islands. He's been not seven, I don't know. He has several islands. One is called Shark Island. Um he's been arrested 7 times. They harass him. Listen, I'm not a good person to ask. Like I said, I have a human rights lawsuit. It's very tricky. Sierra Leone has also given citizenship to just as many people, but because it's a small population and they don't pay their influencers to push their country, Burkina Faso, other countries are welcoming Kenya. There are other countries in Africa, Namibia, Botswana. I mean, I could go on and on, Seychelles, but I would be very leery. So Lacey's House is a nonprofit in the United States. When I went to register in Ghana, they asked me for $10,000 bribery. I also was at the Africa Hotel when a woman in 2021 wanted to do a project to clean the gutters. She had investors for $40 million. The Ministry of Sanitation asked for $8 million in bribery. Her investors didn't want to pay $8 million. You're asked for bribery money. They keep saying they're going after corruption. They're not. They're not. Like I said, my lawsuit was filed in ECOWAS court last year. My human rights were filed over a year ago through the United Nations, Amnesty International. I also filed a human rights complaints there. I was harassed, stopped constantly because of the color of my skin and my accent. Um, it, it's just leery. I wouldn't want to waste my money and to navigate through it. If you know someone, you can get away with a lot. You can get away with murder. There are a lot of people that get away with murder there. If you know someone who's in a position of power, but I would be very leery because there's just a lot of issues right now, especially a lot of highway robbery this year. The month of February was horrible. You could see those videos posted in my YouTube. I don't know. I don't know. Because the daily minimum wage is so low, I think years ago, a lot of investors came in and they pay them poorly, but I would be worried, and I just don't ever want to return. I am doing whatever I can. I'm trying to go and do a huge documentary about my lawsuit, about my human rights violations, about being sexually assaulted by a Ghana police officer. Yes, I reported it to IGP. It is ridiculous. It's very scammy. And people say like South Sudan is one of the most corrupt countries. It's bad. Sis, it's bad. You can look at a lot of videos and contact a lot of people through YouTube, and I just don't know what to tell you. I would be worried. I would be leery and very, very cautious.